Hi, welcome to another video. This week's is a little bit different because this one is a little bit more Photoshop heavy. So on Blender, I'm just gonna create a 3D base that I can paint over. That is why I'm using booleans, and the geometry will be like very simple in the end, so don't expect too much on the Blender side this time. But some of you may be interested in what can you do with the base render after in Photoshop. So this video is more about that. So as any other video, I am creating a base mesh. I decided I wanted some arches for this scene, and I imported a model of a cowboy from, I think it's Big Medium Small or something like that. It's their Western pack or Wild West Park, something like that. So yeah, the way that I am using it right now is just trying to find a composition. So I'm just moving around the camera, find an angle that I want, and having the character in there really helps a lot to really have an idea of a framing with the arches in the back. So now I am using the A&T landscape this time, because again, since I'm just creating a quick base for overpainting in Photoshop later, I didn't need any like super detailed or accurate terrain, so I just needed something to hold the space. So I just used the Canyon preset, which is one of my favorites, and just scaling it to real size, trying to really find a composition that works with the new terrain, because I'm just like leaving it as it is. I am not doing any modifications or anything. I am just like duplicating it here to create something in the background. But then I couldn't find anything, so at some point I'm gonna just like use the sculpt mode tools to lower down a little bit of the terrain. So for texturing, it's also like a super basic texturing too, because again, I am not keeping most of this, and I felt I need like some depth to those arches, and I will be sculpting those later, as you can see right now, to get some shadows in there. So here I am using the physical atmosphere skies or something like that it's called. It's a really cool add-on which is like physically accurate, and it has like some really nice cloud presets and binary sounds and all that stuff. So yeah, quick way to have some moody lighting for this one, but I felt I needed some focus on some elements, so I am creating these big planes that will serve as a flag, and a flag is just like this big plane to create some shadows in my scene, and just like create an opening where my character is to really guide the viewer where to look. So now I felt I needed a little bit more of detail, so I am importing some of the Megascan assets that I have already in the asset browser, and as you can see, they are appearing pink for now because they don't have textures. The reason for that is that I moved some files from one hard drive to another one, and since this asset browser was created when I had that previous hard drive connected, since the location of the file textures has changed, Blender can no longer find the path for the textures, so I just had to update it, and it's working as nice as always. I created also another plane to serve as ground, and I am doing like a very simple and quick triplanar projection mapping for the textures, which basically says that grab this object and project it equally from all three axes. And again, since I am overpainting it in Photoshop, there's not much need of even doing a quick UV unwrapping or anything. So just have some sense of texture that makes some sense, and it's good to go. So since I have these new elements, I am trying to position them in a way that one, serve the composition, and two, that kind of makes sense of where do I want a little bit more of detail. So yeah, again, this is going to be a very simple render, and I am more focused here on the composition. That's why you can see me moving the camera around, playing a little bit with the lighting, and at this point I tried to do some displacement, but since I used booleans at the beginning, the mapping wasn't working that great, so I ended up like not using any displacement on this one. And what I really wanted was to really nail the mist pass. So even though the physical atmosphere has its option to create like a sense of atmospheric perspective within the add-on, I always like to export the mist pass so I can later use it in Photoshop to have a little bit more control and to even enhance the sense of depth with perspective and atmosphere. So again, the passes are the usual. I exported the environment, the ambient occlusion, the beauty pass, and the mist pass. So here in Photoshop, I'm just comping all of those passes. I replaced the sky completely. I found one pack to really match the mood, and now I am enhancing the values of this image. And I think that's what really makes your images pop, to really have a clear sense of what's in front of what, meaning what's closer to the camera is usually darker, have some separation because you create some rhythm with values. So you have dark on light and light on dark in terms of values. And that's what I'm doing here, creating some selections to really separate things and add more depth to the image. And yeah, the way you do that is like using values basically. That's why I am turning this image to black and white every now and then to really make sure that those values are what I want them to do. And if you've seen the thumbnail, that's what really gives the sense of being it, kind of that concept art kind of feel where there's just like focus on something, which is what you want in the end in some cases, right? Especially in this like kind of keyframe establishing shots of a new location or something. Probably you want to really guide your viewer where to look at, and don't be overwhelmed with all that's going on in the environment. And you do that by simplifying and grouping the values and really using composition to guide the viewer's eye. And here I am using some Canyon Rocks reference. I believe this is a pack from Arizona or something like that. I honestly can't remember, but if I'm not wrong, this pack is like from photobash.org, which is a great website that I can't stop recommending. And they have some really nice packs at a very affordable price too, and you can even use like some Google images. That's fine, because we are just using them on specific areas of the image, so there shouldn't be a problem as long as you don't reuse the whole image. It should be fair use, and again, we're like overpainting on top of it, so it's fine if you use even copyrighted Google images. So yeah, what I'm doing here is like trying to break that CG-ness feel of the arches, because again, I knew it didn't matter, I just needed something to hold the space, and then I would overpaint on top of it in Photoshop. So I am using some photo elements. I am basically photobashing on these arches to just try to create a more organic feel to the structure, as if the rock has been taking over the structure over years. I honestly don't think that would happen like in a real world. Like if you carve this out of a rock, like in Petra or something like that it's called, this city that is being carved on a canyon, I don't think that even with time you will get like different organic rock shapes. If it's man-made, it's man-made, or maybe it happens but it takes a lot of time. So in my mind, that's what happens, and that really tries to sell the idea that this structure is like super old, like it's been around for millions of years. But yeah, again, I don't know if that's how it works in reality. So for now, I'm just like matching everything using different adjustment layers to really nail the color and the value of the textures, so they can blend properly with the CG base. And working in black and white, as I've mentioned, is like essential to do this to really nail the value, and then to nail the exposure and the hue is much easier. And again, since we're just like overpainting on top of it, it's much easier. So that's a nice trick. If you want to get rid of the CG feel of an image and make it feel a little bit more hand painted, you can use the cut out filter to simplify some of those photographic details, and then bring them on top with some brush strokes to mask them in or mask them out, which is what I'm doing here, and kind of makes everything feel like more together. So finally, as you know, just some color grading using some LUTs, and the image is basically done. So see you on the next one. Peace.